if you were going to show a kid a Showa era Godzilla movie, I don't know if I could think of a worse one. Because
this one has people being gassed from the sky.
Now we've done Death Wish 3, we've done Life Force, we've done Repulsion. I'm going to say, I think this is the most psychotic movie that we've done. Maybe not the most graphic, maybe not the most brutal, but this is the most psychotic movie that we have done so far in our whole 5 episodes.
That or Life Force has the highest body count for sure. This movie so casually drops the deaths of millions. And what can be enough to the point where they decided to have an End of the World Prince's 1999 style Burning Man concert where they're just like, well, if we're gonna get crushed and we're gonna get gassed to death, like, why not go have a big party near the mountain? And I'm like, yeah, I would totally go to that party.
Zach, I can't remember if they show people dead in the other Godzilla movie.
Yeah, in the first one, there's like a hall of people that are dead or dying, like a medical hall. And if I remember right, there's some in Godzilla Raids Again. It's not common.
Yeah, Godzilla Raids Again is interesting because it's like drops all of the subtext about nuclear war, I guess text about nuclear war, and then it's just a really dark Godzilla movie, which is actually why I liked it as an immediate sequel. Like, it felt dumber, but it felt like its tone was in the same place. I could totally see corpses being in Godzilla Raids Again.
It's a transition from like social commentary of the first one to like goofiness of King Kong versus Godzilla. So like they can't just go straight from Godzilla, where, you know, it's this serious, pretty dark movie, to King Kong, a man in a monkey suit, you know, fighting Godzilla. They had to have a step
powered by electricity.
Yeah. So Godzilla Raids Again is still pretty dark. I'm pretty sure there's corpses in both of those. It's not common. This is probably the darkest one after the first one.
Yeah, they show a fucking cat dead.
Yeah.
And linger on it.
It's really weird. Yeah, because the movie, it has little kids in it. It has little animated sequences, which actually the first couple animated sequences are really light. The third one is really creepily post-apocalyptic. Do you guys want to talk about the animated sequences? The third one I fucking loved. The third one could be in another creepy movie because it's just hand-drawn animation, super, super simple, and it's describing how, since Hedorah is essentially grown from the muck, arisen, he fights Godzilla, whatever. But what he's also doing is gassing and murdering people with both his like shit-slinging mud powers and, this air pollution gas thing that it has, where it's just basically dropping nerve gas on people. And there's an animated sequence that's essentially just explaining the plot point that, like, lots of people just died, and now there are oxygen gas masks out for to try and prevent deaths from Hedorah gas. And I don't get the sense that the masks are working because the voiceover is it's so defeatist sounding. It's just like, you can get a gas mask, no promises.
Well, there's the one animated sequence, and it's like the kind of animation you might see like late at night on Adult Swim, where it just kind of like there's weird segues into things, and there's at one point where there's two people walking, and then they go into silhouette, and then their faces separate from their bodies, and then slide over until they cross each other, and then that shape that makes becomes part of a map that is on a news broadcast, and that explanation doesn't sound like it makes any sense, but that's exactly what happened.
That's like mushroom logic. This movie has a lot of mushroom logic. Like, man is so polluting the earth that a literal monster will rise from it, and we're destroying our planet. But like, maybe our planet will rise up and defend us. Like, it's like weird cosmic. Sense of place.
We should get out of the way that Hedorah looks exactly like Sweetums, the Muppet, who's really big. He's a gray Sweetums.
Gray Sweetums.
He does, and I think that's the other reason why I call this the most psychotic movie that we've ever done, because first of all, most of these monsters are just either goofy or they want to destroy things, or actually most of them just want to kill Godzilla. That basically becomes the plot for at least 50% of these movies. Hedorah does seem to just want to kill people, and based on the look in his eyes, he just looks like a fucking psychopath.
He's
like a
cold
serial
red eyes.
Killer monster. Yeah, and he like has little giggles when he kills people. I mean, there's a level of malevolence to him. He is like, usually aliens send him to kill people. He's definitely a destroyer of worlds type character. But he doesn't seem to, his head's just kind of shake around crazily. There's not that much, there's not a level of just, I am an empty evil shell that only gets its kicks from killing people.
Yeah.
But this guy does.